For instance, you got a person walks down the street and you got 5 different people that witness to him. Well, every one of those God knew about. Every one of those, God wanted him to get saved the first time he heard it. And so God made a provision for him to, as soon as he heard it, to get saved. And then this is what would happen if he did. But let's say the person's will is against it, so he doesn't get saved the first time, second time, third time. Maybe the 4th time, bam, now he goes, you know what? Yeah, I do need this. Well, there you go. Now that's plan 4 right there, right? But God knew, but God still had to present. We have to realize not everybody you minister to or not everybody you witness to is going to get saved. People say, and this was the problem I had. It's not as big now, but it was, and I'm sure it's still going on. I'm just a little insulated to some of it because I don't get in amongst all the other stuff that goes on. But there was a big push for a while to do what they were calling treasure hunts. And people would get together and start praying and saying, oh God, show us who to witness to, show us who to go to and speak to and who to say this. And then, they would get an impression of something or, a person wearing a certain shirt or a certain hat or something. And then they would go look for that person. And it was good because they would get accurate information. They would go do it and that person would probably get healed or something and be good. But the problem with that is it's not scriptural. Because the Bible doesn't say find out who to go talk to. It says preach the gospel to every creature. But see, what we want to do is we want to get a treasure hunt so that we can get the right words because we don't want to waste our time and we don't want to look stupid by getting rejected. So we want to go only to the people that's going to receive. And instead you have to realize you're not just called to preach to people that receive. Every person has to hear the gospel. Some people are going to reject. We just saw that in Matthew 10. If you go in there, and Luke 10, if you go into this city and they reject you, walk out, dust your feet. That means not everybody you preach to is going to receive. But you still have to preach because then on that day they will be held accountable. Yeah. Do you understand? So it doesn't matter whether they receive or not in the overall sense. Now, I don't mean it doesn't matter at all. I'm just saying you have to preach the gospel to every creature. And in that day, some people you will be a witness for, and other people you will be a witness against. Because God is going to be justified by saying, nobody's going to stand before God and say, well, nobody told me. Yeah. That's why, because if we don't preach to every creature, they would have that excuse. So God has to make sure that excuse doesn't stand. So every creature has to be preached to. We can't just go, well, just tell me the ones they're going to receive. That's like telling God, well, God, I'm a salesman. Just give me the names of the people that are going to buy today. That's the only ones I want to talk to. Well, if that's true, we know that. Listen, just to prove that's not true, Paul said some water, some plant, some harvest. Right? He didn't say everybody harvest. He didn't say that. But that's what these treasure hunters want to do. They want to be only the harvesters. Well, you lazy thing. That's ridiculous. We have to present the gospel to every creature. Amen? So don't use that thing. Well, and what it comes down to is you're just afraid to for failure. You're afraid of rejection. Well, you know what? Getting good and rejected, really violently rejected, is good for you. It develops strength. It develops intestinal fortitude. You don't need some people to go, oh, well, I really don't want that, but I really appreciate you sharing it with me. No, you need some people to just get right in your face and just cuss you out. I don't want this, and just go after it. Why? Because you said, well, I don't want to receive, I don't want to do that. Well, you need that. Why? Because probably in you, when they do that, you're going to rear up and cuss them back. And you need to develop the thickness of skin and the fortitude to not react that way. You need to be able to die to that thing where you can just look at them and go, Lord bless you. And then just keep your lips shut. Okay? Okay? So, like David Hogan said it last time he was here. He said, there are times when you have to hold your peace. And that means that sometimes when he said hold your tongue, sometimes you just got to hold your tongue. You just got to reach up there and grab hold of your tongue to keep you from saying some stupid things. Right? But you need to learn to develop. Everybody's not going to welcome you. Some people are going to, run you off. And you need to be able to develop the thick skin to be able to do that. Amen? You need to be able to go out there on the edge and go, you know what? There you go. I preached the gospel to you. Sick got healed. You don't want it. It's on you now. Your blood is on your hands, not on my hands anymore. And even saying that might wake somebody up. Yeah. So, all right. We have to realize the reality of this thing.